Hello, and welcome back to the story. Today we will be making a recap on a 2016 movie titled The Girl on the Train. The story begins with a woman named Rachel who is riding a train home. She narrates how she always wanted to have a different life. Rachel always sits on the same seat of the train twice a day, so she can have a perfect view of her favorite house where a blonde lady is living a perfect life with her perfect husband. The couple are always so sweet and full of love. Rachel wishes to have the same life as them, and she reveals that she used to live 2 doors down from their house. Rachel remembers that it was their first home. She and her husband Tom used to be full of love too. We are then taken back 6 months earlier. The blonde lady's name is Megan. She narrates how she turns from a rebellious teenager, to lover, to gallery manager, to nanny, and to a dirty girl. Megan is talking to her therapist, Dr. Kamal. She says that her current husband wants her to get pregnant, but she does not want to, so her husband convinced her to become a nanny because that might make her want to get pregnant. She says it did not help and she still does not want to have a baby. Back to the present timeline, a woman named Anna is bathing her baby. She tells the baby how much her husband loves her, that he made her breakfast in bed and sang her happy birthday. The nanny enters and it is Megan who helps Anna with the baby. Megan picks up the phone, but it is hung up again. While folding the bedsheet, Megan tells Anna that she got another job, and she will start the next day. Anna got upset because she will be alone tomorrow, but Megan still leaves. Anna's husband arrives and it is Tom, the ex-husband of Rachel. He gives Anna flowers and kisses her. Anna tells her husband that Rachel called the landline 3 times and hung up. She asks him to talk to his ex-wife because she is getting worried, and Tom assures her it would be fine. On the train, Rachel watches Tom and his new family celebrating the birthday of Anna. When she arrives home, she checks her ex-husband's Facebook profile and sees their happy photos. She gets drunk and calls Tom, but her friend Kathy stops her and pours the bottle of alcohol in the sink. She asks Rachel to stop calling her ex-husband and his family. Rachel has been staying with her friend for 2 years already after the divorce. She checks her phone, and we can see that she has made multiple outgoing missed calls to Tom. Before going to sleep, Rachel remembers when she and her husband went to a doctor for IVF because she is having a problem getting pregnant, but it failed. One day while riding the train, Rachel looks at her ideal couple again, but this time, Megan is kissing a different man. Rachel is devastated because the girl just threw away her perfect life. She then gets a bottle of alcohol and pours it on her water bottle. She sits at the park drinking alcohol and remembers the time she opened Tom's laptop and read his erotic emails to Anna, who was their real estate agent, and found out they were having an affair. She breaks down in the bathroom and says that she felt pure rage when she found the blonde lady cheating on her husband. Rachel says that if she could go to the blonde's house, she would pull her hair down to the ground and smash her head all over the floor. The train stops at Megan's neighborhood, and Rachel, who is drunk, gets off and notices a man following her. She walks fast into the woods and later sees a blonde lady walking into a tunnel. Rachel shouts at the lady, and then there is a thud and Rachel blacks out. She wakes up at her friend's house with bloodstains on her clothes and bruises on her head. She finds it hard to remember what happened, and it flashes to her that she approached Megan and pulled down her hair. Rachel attends a support group for alcoholics, and she shares that she gets into trouble when she's drunk and always forgets what she did. She remembers one time when they were having a party at Tom's office. The wife of Tom's boss, Martha, asked Rachel not to put the eggs inside. Rachel screams at her and throws the whole platter of eggs on the wall. Tom tries to calm her, but she slaps him, and at their house, she continues to be violent. The next day, she remembers nothing, so her husband tells her what happened and says that he got fired because of what she did. When Rachel arrives at Kathy's apartment, she saw 2 detectives. Detective Riley asks her where she was on Friday night. She answers that she was at work, and after that, she thought of visiting her ex-husband, so she got off the train but then decided not to go on and just go home. Rachel said she was back at the apartment by 11 p.m., but the detective finds out that she boarded the train at 6 p.m., so she asks Rachel what was she doing in between those hours, and she could not answer. The detective shows the picture of Megan and asks Rachel if she remembers seeing her. She says no and tells them she does not know her. Detective Riley says Megan works for Rachel's ex-husband and she went missing the same night when Rachel got off the train. The detective clarifies what was her work because she got fired for over a year already because of her drinking problem, and Rachel could not answer. After the detectives leave, Rachel suddenly remembers seeing Megan having an affair with another man, so she runs and tells Detective Riley about this. The detective asks how did she know that Megan was cheating even though Rachel does not know her. The neighbors said they saw a drunk woman near Megan's house that night, and Detective Riley says Rachel must have mistaken Megan for Anna. The detective added that Anna reported Rachel's frequent visit to their house uninvited. Rachel is stunned and Detective Riley advises her to stay away from her ex-husband and his family. Flashback to 4 months ago, Megan talks with her therapist again. She says she lies a lot and sleeps around with different men. She touches herself in front of Dr. Kamal and tells her therapist that she thinks about him all the time. Dr. Kamal walks out. Rachel reads the news about Megan, who has gone missing. She decides to go to her house and Anna sees her through the window as she passes by. Megan's husband Scott opens the door and Rachel says she is a friend of hers, so he welcomes her in. She tells him that she saw Megan on their porch with another man on Friday morning and Scott is heartbroken. Scott shows her picture of Megan's therapist and Rachel confirms he is the one she saw. Flashback to 2 months ago, Megan is being nailed by a mystery man in the woods. When she goes home, Scott jumps and assaults her. We then see Megan crying while talking to Dr. Kamal, saying her husband is abusive. Scott wants her to get pregnant and they always fight about it. She hugs and kisses Dr. Kamal, but the therapist stops her because he's afraid he would lose his practice and she get mad. Rachel sees the news flash that Dr. Kamal has been brought in for questioning about Megan's disappearance. She receives a message from Scott saying he wants to meet with her. When she asks him what's wrong, he says Dr. Kamal has been released because there was not enough evidence. And he is worried because the therapist revealed that Scott is an abusive husband to Megan and now the police think that he is the suspect. Rachel tries to console him, but Scott suddenly gets enraged and she gets scared. Rachel goes to Dr. Kamal and asks help for recovering her memories. She tells him about her blackouts when she gets drunk. The therapist asks when did she start drinking heavily and she says it was at the time when she could not get pregnant, and Rachel starts to cry. Anna goes to the police to report Rachel, who has been calling her husband dozen times a day. The detective says they are all from an unknown number and she does not know what they are saying to each other. Anna then says that Rachel is hanging around Scott's house, but Detective Riley says she is aware, and it does not add up to anything. The detective then asks Anna if her husband really does not want to stay in touch with his ex-wife, suggesting that he is hiding something. When she's back at home, Anna tries to open her husband's laptop using different passwords but fails. Tom arrives and she quickly moves back to the couch. One night, Scott goes to Rachel's apartment. He says he does not know where to go because the reporters are in his yard. He found out from the detective that Megan is pregnant, and she told her therapist but not her husband. Scott says he always wanted a family, but they always fought about it because Megan does not want a baby. Flashback to 1 month ago, Megan goes to her therapist late at night. She confesses that she got pregnant at 17 and she loved the baby very much. One day, she gets in the tub and puts the baby in her chest. She accidentally fell asleep, and the baby fell and drowned. Megan blamed herself for what happened, and her boyfriend left her. She cries and hugs Dr. Kamal. While riding the train, Rachel sees the news that Megan's body has been found and the investigation is now being called a homicide. Anna tells her husband that she missed being the mistress and asks Tom if he enjoyed cheating with Rachel before. Tom tells her not to talk about Rachel. Anna says she saw her at Scott's house and says maybe it was Rachel who put down Megan. Tom says she did not do it. Rachel is just a sad person, and she is harmless. When Rachel arrives home, she is surprised to see Scott inside. He says he found out from Detective Riley that he is not the father of Megan's child, and neither is her therapist. He yells at Rachel to sit down, and she is scared. Scott says he also found out that Rachel did not actually know Megan. She says she was just trying to help, and Scott throws his bottle to the wall. He asks why is she seeing Dr. Kamal, and before she can explain, Scott assaults her and calls her a liar. Rachel begs for her life and Scott leaves her. Rachel rushes to the police station to report that she was assaulted by Scott. Detective Riley says she knows Scott is staying overnight at her apartment and says maybe they have an affair, that's why she put down Megan. Rachel says it is not true. The detective reminds her that she was seen in the area that night and there are several unaccounted hours that she could not explain. Rachel leans back and says that it was Scott who put down his wife, but Detective Riley says Scott did not because surveillance footage caught him drinking in a sports bar that night. The detective says she is lying and asks her what happened. Rachel says she doesn't know and runs away. Flashback to Friday morning, Megan is in their house crying and Dr. Kamal consoles and hugs her. Rachel, who was on the train at that time, sees them kissing on the porch. Dr. Kamal tells Megan that she and her baby will be fine. Rachel later remembers the time she saw Megan cheating and how she wanted to pull her hair down and smash her head to the floor. Rachel is starting to think that she must be the one who murdered Megan, so she leaves Kath's apartment. On the train, she finds the wife of Tom's former boss Martha and she approaches her. Rachel apologizes for what she has done before. Martha is confused about what she is apologizing for, and Rachel says sorry for screaming at her and throwing the eggs. She says she blacked out and forgot what happened, but Tom tells her what she did and said that he got fired because of how she behaved. Martha tells her she did nothing wrong. She got drunk, so Martha brought her to the guest bedroom where she took a nap. Martha says Tom got fired because he is sleeping around with everybody in the office. Rachel now realizes that Tom made up the stories. After that party, Tom pushed her on the street and left her. And in their house, it was Tom who smashed the mirror. Anna is still trying to open Tom's laptop. She gives up, and while putting the laptop back to the bag, she finds a cell phone. The texts have already been deleted, but when she listens to the phone's voicemail greetings, she hears the voice of Megan. Tom wakes up and Anna throws the phone away. Rachel goes back to the tunnel, and she remembers that it was Megan who she saw that night. Tom gets out of the car and approaches Rachel. He pushes her away and Rachel hits the wall. Tom smashes her head with his metal keychain and Rachel blacks out. The man who was following her tries to help her, but she shoos him away. Rachel goes to tell Anna that her husband is cheating. Anna says she knows and accepts that her husband is a cheater. She tells Anna that Tom killed Megan, and she and her baby should leave him. Anna says they don't know that, and she is firm that she won't leave Tom. Tom comes out and Rachel tells him that she remembers everything, and she knows that he put down Megan. She says that Megan got into his car that night and he attacked Rachel because she saw them. Tom tries to deny it, but then Anna says she found Megan's phone in his bag. She asks her husband if he is sleeping with Megan while she was working at their house, and Tom confesses he did. While the couple are arguing, Rachel tries to call 911, but Tom catches her and brings her to sit down. Rachel tells him that she now knows all the lies he told her when she was drunk. Tom suddenly smashes a glass on her head, and she falls down unconscious. Flashback to Friday night. Tom drives Megan into the woods. It is revealed that the mystery man who frequently humps Megan in the woods was Tom. Megan tells Tom that she is pregnant and there is a chance he is the father. He tells her to get an abortion because he does not need another kid, especially with her. Megan got angry and tells him that without his women, he is just a pathetic, impotent man. Tom is enraged and pushes her, and Megan hits her head on a rock. She tells Tom that he's gonna pay for what he did for the rest of his life. Tom kicks her and smashes a rock on her head until she expires. Rachel wakes up and Tom tells her that it is her fault. If she had only stayed that night and left them alone, Megan wouldn't have been dead. Rachel runs, takes a corkscrew, and dashes out of the house. Tom catches her, but then Rachel stabs him with a corkscrew, and he lies down gasping for breath. Anna comes out and stares at Rachel. She kneels beside Tom and pushes down the corkscrew even more until Tom stops breathing. The police later arrive and interrogates them. Rachel says it was self-defense and Tom would have killed her. When Anna is interrogated, she says the same, that Rachel had no choice and Tom would have hurt her. She says that Rachel was right about Megan and everything she said was true. The movie ends with Rachel visiting Megan's tomb. She narrates that the three of them, including Anna, are now bound forever by the story they share. On the train, she now sits on a different seat and now has a better perspective of her life ahead. Did you like our movie recap? Please don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. To be updated for new movie recaps, hit the notification bell.